Hey folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I'm Robert, your resident Gen Xer. Right over there is John, our resident millennial.
Neckbeard.
Neckbeard.
President Neckbeard.
Sometimes it's synonymous.
Correct.
Those are synonymous words.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Depends on where you're at.
Hmm.
John,
Indeed.
John, it's been a crazy weekend, dude.
Has it?
Yeah. But anyway, hey, John, before we get started, do you think all those people in the chat, see, I see people, Jake from Freedom's Group, I see Midget, they should hit like, right? They should
I
hit
think
like.
they should. We should have at least 2 likes.
I
on the
figure.
video for right now.
Why don't you go ahead and give us a like too? Is it okay for us to like ourselves?
No, I don't like
wait,
that.
Wait. No. I'm a product of the '80s, and one thing that we learned in the '80s is it's okay to love yourself. It's okay
to sell out.
It's okay to love yourself. Are you calling me a sellout?
Yeah, I am.
I would sell us out. I would sell us out in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's fair.
For the right money? For the right money, John?
One of the negatives of being a filthy capitalist.
John,
money.
There's a couple of things coming up. Why don't you go ahead and get those announcements out of the way before we get into the meat of the program?
Yes.
So we got a lot to we got a lot to unpack tonight.
Well, still don't know if it's going to be up on the channel, but I'll just go ahead and plug it anyway. Next Sunday, having a HEMA match with Anavoltis, so that'll be fun. If we're able to, then I will.
What's the date on that?
The 14th.
14th. Wait, that's this Sunday.
Yeah.
This coming Sunday.
Or so I guess it would be the 13th, something like that. Whatever. This Sunday.
Okay, this Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
Go ahead.
So if we can, we'll record that and put it up on the channel. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then Halloween night, we have our Halloween special or spooktacular. It's going to be a 3-hour live stream for St. Jude's charity. So we're going to be giving some money to some sick kids and scaring the shit out of each other, and hopefully you guys as well. And we're going to try and get some of our Freedom Scoop people together for that. So that'll be cool. And then Friday, December 6th, we have our 12-hour live stream for Toys for Tots. So we can raise some money to get some toys for some needy children who wouldn't otherwise get any. So hopefully we'll be in the giving spirit as well on the 6th. So make sure you're there.
One can help. One can help.
Awesome.
Yeah, those will be fun.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility we may also be doing something on Stephen Ignoramus coming up soon? Have you heard the rumors?
I heard a rumor about
a little Freedom Scoop action, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. You might have a Freedom Scoop powwow.
I mean, it might just be fake news, but
I think it's fake news.
Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. It might happen. You guys don't speak Spanish.
Correct.
Okay.
Actually, let me say it in Spanish. Correctamundo.
Okay.
I don't know if that's actually how you say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sí, trabajo. We can work.
That's the only letter I know in Spanish.
Sí, trabajo.
Is K.
Sí,
anyway, John. Wow. There's things going on, but I know you don't want to talk about that. So let's talk about other stuff.
Yes.
I know you wanted to. I know there's one thing you wanted to talk about, and I'll give you this one. Today's the 2-year anniversary of.
Yesterday
is 2-year anniversary of Ralphie May's death, and that's brought you a grief moment. Brought your grief back a little.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, John. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, 2 years ago yesterday, we lost a lot of weight, and also one of the best comedians to ever live. Ralphie May died 2 years ago yesterday, and it's a huge shame. He finally got his headstone though, tombstone, whatever. Finally after 2 years. It was due largely in part to Joey Diaz and Bert Kreischer, I believe, was a big part in it. His grave was like the grave was beautiful, but there was just like a little plastic sign there saying here's Ralphie May, and when he died and stuff. And so that was a real shame, and it was really an indictment on his friends and family, or supposed friends for the most part, um, who didn't do that for him. And there was a whole thing on the Church of What's Happening Now, Joey Diaz's podcast
So
about
he did, I'm
sorry, go
sorry,
ahead.
he didn't have anybody close to him to
Well, I mean, the the
close
closest
enough to
person
put up a
he
headstone.
well, so the person closest to him was his ex-wife, who spent the time trying to get money for a documentary about him together so that she could make a shitload of money off of the Netflix deal, which was also stopped by Joey Diaz. So it was really only a few people who cared enough to, and it took them a long time because it was trying to be stopped. It's a whole story. I recommend people go and look it up. It's a really sad story.
Who was the
Um,
beneficiary of his estate? Because he
his
had
wife,
his
his
ex-wife.
ex-wife, yeah.
What? Wait, they were. She was still the beneficiary of his
Well, because
estate
the
after
divorce
they
was never
divorced.
finalized. Yeah, the divorce was never
Oh,
finalized. Yeah,
mm, gotcha. Okay, well,
yeah.
but nobody else cared enough. Family, nothing.
Well, well, I mean, so his family, no. He didn't really have any other family that was still alive that he was in contact with. Um, but all his other comedian friends, a few of them tried to, but a lot of them didn't. And so it just took them a long time to get it done, but it finally got done 2 years later. So
There's
really happy about
there's
that.
been a few opportunities in here for me to make some jokes
Yeah,
at Ralphie May's expense.
I mean, I'm sure he would have
I
appreciated it.
think he would, but I'm trying to be respectful of you, John, because too soon. It might
No,
be
it's
too
not too
soon for
soon.
you.
It's fine.
I know you're wearing the sunglasses tonight. You're probably hiding a
Yeah,
tear. Um,
a little bit. Yeah, I'm like the Indian in that commercial when you litter. The one tear goes down. It's
but
like
to
that.
but to be honest with you, um, I I would not agree that I don't know. You seem to I get the impression that he was like maybe your favorite comedian.
No, but he was
No.
up there, top three, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Um, well, on a side note, in similar vein, from my
hmm
childhood, yesterday, Rip Taylor, the great Rip Taylor, passed away at 84 years old. Um,
He was
he
just
would,
trying to take Ralphie May's thunder. That's all.
is that what he was trying to do?
Yeah.
So, another comedian dies on the same day as Ralphie May's passing 2 years ago. This,
Yep.
I wonder if they had any. I wonder if Ralphie May ever met Rip Taylor, if they had any interaction, or if he was any kind of influence on
Maybe
him.
it's a pretty small community. Like
It could
big
be
time
very,
comedians.
it could be one of those serendipitous things.
Uh-oh, we're being censored by YouTube. Jake from Freedom Scoop says, "Just so you know, YouTube didn't notify me that you guys were on like it normally does."
Now
Yeah,
here,
that is odd.
now here's something interesting about that. I did not go through the old YouTube
Mm.
beta or the old YouTube Classic when I scheduled the show. I went ahead and
I
just
didn't get the
went.
notification either.
I just went ahead and went through the studio. The
Mm.
new studio interface that they're supposed to
So
have.
yeah,
See, so
stayed up.
there's definitely something. I would go ahead and guess there might be something associated there. We'll find out on Friday when I go back into Classic and make sure and
Yeah.
schedule it in Classic. Um,
Funny thing is, I got the 30-minute warning, but I didn't get the actual notification,
mm,
which I usually get the notification and an email for some reason. It's like from at the on the generational gap email. So it's like, hey, you're live on your own channel. Don't know if you knew that. It's
I
like,
don't
yeah,
know.
pretty sure I know.
I don't know why it is, but like I don't. The only notification I usually get before the show is when you post it in Discord.
hmm
Most every other notification that I get from
Yeah,
YouTube or anything like that, that comes to me oftentimes after the show.
really.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if it's
Hmm.
just like something with the Wi-Fi, from on my phone, or
I don't know.
just a delay. It's weird. Yeah, I usually even like Twitter notifications. I usually get those like the day after somebody's posted something, or the next morning, or whatever the case may be. It's weird how the updates seem to work.
Yeah.
It seems like it's packet updates, but so we'll see if we rectify that on
Yeah, that's why it's
Friday.
important that everyone out there joins the Discord linked below, so that you can get notified before we go live that we're going live. We announce it every time.
So, John, you had something else that you mentioned that I find this interesting because I've had this
Yeah.
happen before. I've seen this in action, and I guess it made me think of a challenge to give you. But anyway, you learned a new word today.
I did.
You learned a new word. Could you please
And
share
it's
that
not
word?
fuck either.
Right.
I've known that one for a while.
Not,
No, it's
not according to your fiance. Anyway. Anyway.
No. I learned the word invidious today.
Invidious.
Invidious.
It sounds like a graphics card, but it's not.
No, that's Nvidia. Different.
Right,
Different thing.
but that could be one of their models, the Invidious by Nvidia.
Invidious 3000.
Right.
Yeah.
GX 3000.
Right,
But not only did you learn the word today, but
I saw it. Yeah, like 4 different places. Like different places, and that had nothing to do with each other. It was one of those really weird moments where I don't know if this has ever happened to anyone out there. I'm sure it has, where you learn something new, a new word, and then you just see it all over the place.
Okay, so now this is not a common word. So here's what I'd like you to do. First, go ahead and tell us what the word means, and then tell us some of the instances in which you ran into this word, because as well read as I am as well, I am not familiar with this word either, and it surprises me that you saw it 4 different times today.
Yeah. So it's an adjective. It means an action or situation likely to arouse or incur resentment or anger in others. So that's the definition of it.
So how did you come across this 4 different times today when, like, that is not a word that's commonly... I don't think I know I've never used it. I've never heard anybody in my circle use it.
Yeah, so 2 of them I heard in separate YouTube videos, and then one of them was a CNN article talking about the Joker movie and about how it's evil and all the nonsense that they've been doing for the past couple of weeks. So I thought that was really interesting, and I was also listening to an audiobook while I was at work, the Master and Commander books. It's a book series, like a 22 book series, something like that. Really great series. Highly recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, it was used in that as well.
Which
was written in 1977, so it was a while ago.
Which was the first one you ran into it? That's
the audiobook one.
The audiobook, and that spurred you to look it up.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and then the other 3 you heard in recent.
I heard later on, yeah.
3 recent things, right?
And that was all today, yeah.
So now, that's interesting. Now as far as the word itself being used 3 times recently, you said in 2 YouTube videos and a CNN article. Now that is something that I don't know. Maybe this goes back a long ways. When we're talking about media, but I think it's these buzzwords that click. So if people are scanning social media or watching things on YouTube, this, that, and the other thing, and they pick up a word like, so if CNN saw it or somebody watched it, the one YouTube video and they said it in their YouTube video, and because that tends to be a new. You're funny. I like that.
Yeah.
It's not a common word. I'm 51 years old, and today is the first day I'm being introduced to this word. And again, I've read lots of books, lots of different things that would have dealt with, causing ire in someone. And, because that's just pissing somebody off is really
right.
It's a more educated way of saying pissing people off. Baiting would be the that would be the more common term that you might associate with it, synonymous, that would be used. I would think people would use that more than invidious, right? Everybody's got their spelling down today. See, midget, you thought you had a tricky thing for them.
Right.
So now, John,
I'll go ahead and spell it out in the chat. So
no,
if you're interested
don't do it. Nobody asked you to.
I know, but I'll do it anyway as a courtesy. Let me make sure I do spell it right though.
I don't know. I don't know Tim Curry's wife's name.
Mrs. Curry.
I guess she would be the it fucker.
I guess that's fair, right?
He was Pennywise originally.
Was he?
Or yeah, it was Tim Curry that was doing Pennywise. But not this one, the one that they did, because that wasn't the first time they did it. They did it one time before, but Tim Curry played Pennywise in one of them. But anyway, invidious. It's a nice word. I'll see if
Yeah, I like it.
So this idea of I was talking to you about looking up certain looking up new words for the day and then using them throughout the day and watching to see if you see them. This is a common thing that happens. It's just like a coincidental thing. It's like extreme coincidence. So my challenge to you is that you find out if there's a word for that phenomenon. And
That's
then
interesting.
and then
Yeah.
update us maybe on Friday if you found out anything, an actual term for that phenomenon. Baiting is hard to use as an adjective, Robert. No, you're constantly baiting me. It's pretty easy to use. Oh, as an adjective?
Yeah, as an adjective.
He's
Go
a
ahead.
baiting asshole. Yeah, Midget's a baiting asshole. That
There you
works
go.
as an adjective. Or is that an adverb? Qualifies it. That might be an adverb, actually. I don't think you can use it because of the verb tense it's set in.
It's called Bader Meinhof.
What? What is? The phenomenon?
Bader Meinhof. For frequency illusion, type of cognitive bias your mind creates. To understand this, you need to know a little bit about cognitive bias as a whole. Don't make me learn shit. I didn't come here to learn shit. But Bader Meinhof is what it's called. I'm guessing the guy who came up with it
Is it German?
There you go.
He's a German.
Sounds German.
Baiting Meinhof. I haven't been baiting Meinhof lately, so
I like it.
Yeah, see, good. That's what I was saying, Jay. Actually, I think if you call
Seawall's here.
Oh shit! If you call someone a baiting asshole, I think that baiting becomes an adverb because it's a combination adjective and verb. But anyway, so there was something else you wanted to talk about, and so now technically this is your own fault. We have to talk a little bit about world politics here for a second because South Park apparently had a recent episode in which they were poking fun at some other country, some small country out east, if I'm not mistaken. What country was it, John?
It's this little. I think I heard of it a couple weeks ago. China. I couldn't remember. I know it was two syllables, but I didn't want to mispronounce it. I think Trump mentioned it at one point.
Who? I thought you didn't want to talk about him.
I'm just saying he mentioned it. That's all.
They had an episode. Now I haven't read any articles on this. It was just some conversation in Discord. So apparently they censored, banned an episode.
Well, they've banned most of the episodes.
And this, and has this not been for ongoing time? I mean, is this not normal for them?
That's what I was saying in the Discord. I guess they just double banned it. That's all that happened. They just this is super banned, guys. All right.
I mean, I wouldn't.
You thought it was just banned? No. This is super banned.
No, they scrubbed South Park from Chinese internet. Oh, they scrubbed it from the internet, so you can't even find. Oh,
well, what I read was that they scrubbed that episode and several others. That's what I saw. Who knows? It's probably not available at all. They probably have their own version of South Park. It's I don't know.
Well,
whatever Chinese South Park is.
Well, I found it interesting that you also sent something to me, and
I did
make sure I can get it.
It was their Matt Stone and Trey Parker's response. They apologized like the betas they are, the cucks. It really sucks.
Now, when you say they apologize like the...
It was a perfectly serious apology.
So, now when you say they apologize, this is... Now, because this is going to feed us into yet another topic in a little bit. This is just a meme that came out, right? That they put out.
No, yeah,
They did,
yeah, no,
or
this
did
is
they
the
do
actual.
it? Now, there's not really like an official letter they did. They weren't so bold
Right.
as that, right?
Well, it was on the official South Park Twitter. That's what was
That
posted
nobody in
to it.
China will see.
Right.
Gotcha. So it says official apology to China from Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. Xi doesn't look just like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune
That's
in to
right.
our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May this autumn's sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good now, China? Love it.
Yeah. I
That's
expect that was an adequate apology.
yeah. It seems like should uh, that should help. Do you think Xi will get that message?
Yeah, I think he'll get it. I think he'll accept the apology and allow South Park back into their homes and hearts.
Now, if they had really wanted to seem penitent, they would not have asked that the sorghum harvest be bountiful, but that the swine harvest be bountiful, because pork is becoming an issue over there as far as the abundance of, to the extent that I was reading an article. His farmer was he was raising 1,100-pound pigs to try and
Nice.
capitalize on the market value
Yeah,
of
you
pork
can't
over
do that
there.
over there.
And our pork is going to go up here, they're saying, because of the reduced abundance of it there. Because
Oh,
of
I thought you meant a pork farmer over there was doing that.
no, he
I
is
was like,
over
yeah,
there. He's doing that.
over
He's
there? Yeah, you
yeah.
can't do that over
No,
there.
no, they're fine.
That lifts him above the other farmers. That's
Oh
not
no,
allowed.
this is becoming a common thing amongst the farmers, is to try and raise them much bigger and bigger to try and get as much money as they can and meet the demand. So it's but they don't get much for that pig though. They were saying, what was it? Like a 500-pound pig brings in about, in American dollars, $1,400.
Well, the real payment is just the feeling in your heart that you've helped the Communist Party. I mean, that's really all the payment you need, right?
Hmm. What I find interesting is why there would even be discussion about oh well, prices are going to go up in other countries for pork. If you've got enough to send out, you might be able to address your pork shortage. If you just stop sending so much out, don't export as much pork, keep it in China. But no,
And to address J. Edgar there, he says, you guys want to read a Babylon B article on the air? Depends on what it is. I would recommend sending the link to Robert there in a DM, and he'll decide whether or not we want to.
And well, no, he needs to send it to you in a DM,
Oh, send it to me
if
in a DM.
if I open it up, I'm gonna have to open it up from the chat, because remember, I don't like to minimize and dox us
Yeah,
or
that's fine.
dox
That's fine.
myself.
Send it to me. Send it to
I
me.
don't want anybody to see my nudes.
Haha. No, yeah, we definitely want to have your news on the air.
You don't want that. I don't like the jealousy it creates.
Susan
So-
WikiWiki won't like it either.
So, John, this brings me to one of the two topics I want to discuss tonight, because you squashed my other one because you're such a big mamby-pamby. So memes. I'm beginning. I've started questioning the meme culture in my head. It's not about relevance. Well, I guess to a certain extent it is. The meme culture is, I guess it's growing still, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right? It's becoming more widespread.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately,
I mean, I've watched
brings
it.
down the value of all memes.
I mean,
because market gets flooded.
I mean, it used to just be, a meme was just a picture with some words on it, right? Made a humorous thing. I'm going back. Going back.
No, that's what I'm saying. The modern interpretation of a meme is that, yes, but a meme is actually just any kind of cultural artifact,
No.
kind of. So it goes back millennia. a meme.
Right, but
It's a cultural artifact that spread.
but you know, that was what you called one of the media artifacts that we now just umbrella under meme, right? There were memes,
right.
there were gifs, there were this, there were that,
Mhm.
JPEGs, you know, all these, you know, it had all these computer, you know, little computery names for it, but now it's all just umbrellaed under one
It's
big. It's the
meme.
meme culture now, right?
Hmm.
And all these different ways in which you trade information. Now, you know, I'm gonna say information, because a lot of people see it as that, right?
G. Edgar coming in with all the nasty comments.
I know.
You're a
He
nasty
keeps he
boy.
keeps
Yeah.
promising, but never
He never
delivers.
delivers.
He's
Yeah.
never delivered. Uh, who did he send it to you, John?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so you go ahead and inspect that.
Yeah,
So
it's outside of the purview of what we're
so
talking about.
you know, midget,
It is good though. I recommend
just
people check it out.
the boomer hour here. You know what? If I was a boomer, that would make more sense. But I'm not. You're another one of these dumb
A
kids that
boomer
lumps
and a
everybody
newcomer.
older than you, than your generation, as a boomer.
That's not how it works.
It's another dumb meme thing, because here's what the memes I love are the ones where it's like Gen X sitting and watching millennials scream at boomers and just going, "You
And
guys are fucking idiots."
also midget B, we don't bully our internet friends. Okay, it's not a nice thing to do. Be nice. Be a sweet boy. We're
Um,
being sweet boys here.
So, John, I have it's brought this question to my mind, and I wanna use your knowledge of meme culture and the culture wars, etc., to help me
Mhm.
answer this question. I see memes as, you know, the serious memes. Okay, I'm going to say serious memes that talk, you know, that are speaking to politics, things like this. Even though it does, you know, of course, there's the underlying humor edge to most memes that are, you know, most meme media. Um, but it just, a lot of it seems like passive aggressive baiting, from, you know, whoever's doing it. It's like stirring the pot. But my question is how much of an impact is it having on politics? The
Um,
with changes in the country from that standpoint versus just being something that stirs the shit and riles up both sides. You know, gets people antagonized at one another. I mean, what purpose is it serving at this point?
so it is largely a way of like giving, not really giving information because there's not a lot of information you can actually like spread with the meme. But what it does is supposedly like gets people to look into whatever the meme is talking about. If we're talking about a political meme, right?
And
Most of the time,
that's the hope of
yeah.
the meme, right? Okay.
Yeah, if we're talking about, those are usually like boomer tier memes, which there's a whole tier list. I was just trying to find it, but now I have to actually concentrate to speak. Um, yeah, so I mean, it can be argued if you want to go with the whole what is it actually doing. Um, there's a really good argument for that memes helped Trump get elected. So that's affected our politics for the past 4 years.
Now, when you're
That's
from the standpoint of people just going out and voting, because of
no, not necessarily.
would it have mattered
It's
if
not
it
the
was
meme
somebody
itself.
besides Trump? Is what I'm at. Is the
No,
question?
no, because
It had
okay,
to
so
be
there's the
Trump,
concept
right?
of like meme magic, right? Where something is a meme and then it leaves the internet and becomes a real thing in real life. That is what meme magic is. And so Trump was memed into the presidency, is what the deal is. At least how the argument goes. You can decide for yourself whether or not they actually had an impact. But um, yeah, I mean, first of all, they were really good memes. They were top tier memes. These were amazing, and so people would laugh at them, right? And this is what, oh man, I'm going to go off into another tangent again if I don't stop. Um, so basically, what you would do is kind of and the chat is especially Seawall is providing a lot of good.
I'm going to address what
But
Seawall is saying in a moment, but go ahead.
yeah, um, Trump being elected by memes. So basically, like there would be the idea was to get Trump elected via memes,
Okay.
and so what would happen was there were all these positive memes about Trump, and they were funny, they were hilarious, and they were seeing him in a positive light and seeing the
Right.
Democrats in a negative light, and so that helps, especially when people actually start talking about them, and that's the main point, is when people talk about it.
Right.
And it spreads throughout articles. It spreads through, whether it be like Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, wherever the fuck you can find memes. Reddit is another big meme one, unfortunately. Um, it gets people talking, and then that's what gets more information spread, and that's what gets people to actually look into the issues, as opposed to just reading a headline of an article and saying, "Okay, this is my opinion now."
Right.
So that's the whole idea behind it.
So I could understand the meme culture affecting the popularity of a candidate. I could see that.
Or an
Um,
issue. If there's an issue
Possibly, but
political issue,
that's where I would want to understand how much of an impact the meme culture has had on policy issues that are going to affect, and trying to separate it from the fact that looking at SJWs in Washington, this, that, and the other, try and separate generational cultural things outside of the meme culture. How much has it actually impacted policy? But before we dive into that, I do want to touch on this because Seawall's making a good point. Trump did post a picture of Biden, right? He did a meme, and that had Nickelback in it. Of course, they pulled it because of copyright issues, whatever they said. But he was promoting the fact that Biden was corrupt. It was a picture of Joe Biden, his son, and said an exec from Burisma, well, a Ukrainian exec from over in Burisma. Now, I am going to point out one thing, and I've read an article. I forget who it was. I meant to pull it up. Did I share it? I don't know if I shared it in Discord. But the person that he pointed out as a Ukrainian exec with Burisma, according to the report, it was not a Ukrainian exec out from Burisma. It was an American who was also on the board with Hunter. So, just but the impact of that photo, yes, it was resounding, right? You heard a lot of stuff, but now,
absolutely,
what fire does that fuel? Does that fuel support for him, or because that same time that came out, over the weekend, Rudy Giuliani, they did not show up on any of the talk shows through the weekend, and people were expecting that he would, but apparently it was said that Joe Biden's campaign put pressure or convinced people not to have Giuliani. I don't know if Joe Biden carries that much weight to media, so I didn't know how much credence to give it, but they said that had an impact on these shows not asking Giuliani to come on and speak over the weekend. So, it's like, okay, the weight of these things. Now, Seawall is also saying that Biden's current fall from grace, I think just the simple fact that the accusation keeps being flung around is more than enough to cause Joe to fall from grace, because we've got
what helps keep it in the front of everyone's mind, though.
Well, it's Trump, right?
Memes.
Well, he's
not just Trump.
But right, I understand memes.
But memes in general.
But we're talking about keeping it in the forefront of Congress's mind, politicians, Washington, right? Are memes doing that, or is it that the allegation is now there and it's got to be bounced around now constantly, because you can't talk about the Ukraine call without talking about Biden corruption being involved, and then so now it's like, okay, do we investigate the Biden corruption? Because yes, we should, because it's corruption,
right.
blah blah blah.
Well, you're getting away from the question.
Go ahead.
About whether or not it's affecting Congress, is keeping it in their minds. I think it is, because all of them are on Twitter. All of them are on Twitter, and they're going to see that in their timelines. They're going to see the articles written about the evil alt-right memes, these sorts of things. So it's going to be in the forefront of their minds as well.
Okay, so that's going on the expo. Well, I guess my thought is the politicians themselves are not sitting on Twitter going through it, though. My guess is they have aides that are scanning Twitter, looking for things that are relevant for them to deal with or look at or
Some of them
talk
do.
about. So I
for
never.
the most part, they're on. They're because they'll respond, to each other, or they'll bitch about how many people they get, commenting to them about what a piece of shit they are,
Right.
that sort of thing. So, they're obviously looking sometimes.
So okay. So then I have a two-part question about the Trump photograph meme. Did that help him or hurt him? And does your opinion of that change if it's true that this wasn't a Burisma executive from the Ukraine as opposed to just another American on their board of execs like Hunter?
I think it definitely helps him because once again, it's all eyes on Trump, which is we've talked about on the show before, is what keeps his approval rating higher than it could have been. Right? That's what keeps his name out there constantly. If there's one thing he's good at, it's name recognition. That's what any brand needs. And one thing he's good at, like we said, is getting his brand out there, selling the brand, selling Trump. And so by having all eyes on him at all times, you're constantly inundated with Trump, 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 Trump. And when you go to that ballot box, there's his name right there.
Well, actually, let me tweak the question a moment. Is it possible that that got pulled because they realized that the guy wasn't a Ukrainian exec with Burisma, as opposed to a copyright issue because Nickelback would have had a problem?
No, it was a
with
copyright
the president
issue.
using. But was there proof it was a copyright issue? Is what I'm asking. The reason
it got taken down due to copyright infringement. Yeah.
Okay.
I went and found the tweet, and it says this was removed due to copyright.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Now, whether or not they, just use the copyright system, we could go off into a whole other.
Sure,
thing
we could go into the dark. You're right.
But that is the reason that was given. Yeah.
The shadow state conspiracy about it, but so that's one of those things where it's even the meme culture can come back and bite you in the ass if you fuck up on your meme, right?
It can, but if you play it right, and just embrace the meme, then it goes away. If you make a shitty meme and people tell you it's a shitty meme, you say, "Oh well, I'm just a boomer. What am I gonna do?" And then people don't care anymore.
All right. So, would you say that that there's a certain amount, and maybe this falls into one of the tiers, of memes out there that are, for want of a better term, echo chamber memes? Like, you post that meme out there, there's only going to be a certain segment that even gets it, or that is even in any way, shape, or form relevant to, and then it's just it's confined, because of course the hope for a meme is that many people see it and many people are
right. Not always. So that's the thing, is some memes are just meant to make you laugh.
Well, yeah, some just to make you laugh, but there are some that I know Midget posted one up there. I know you'll get this, John. So it was something that was speaking directly to you, that you're familiar with. So, and that's where I talk about
me.
Well, right.
It would be anyone that it applies to. Yeah. But so it could be.
So I wondered. So I wondered if that's that's kind of what I'm talking about. If that could be, if that's it might be considered something that's more of an echo chamber meme. Unless somebody wanted to take the time and go and try and figure out what it represented, right?
Well, one of the problems with certain memes is that there's like a deep lore to them. So like you have to have understood the previous 7 memes that have come before it in order to get that one. So like you really have to be immersed in internet culture to understand it, and meme culture to really get it.
Okay.
And Midget B's making a good point down there.
And that's what I was just going to point that out.
Laughter is a great way into people's psyches. It's true.
There were 2 things he said that I wanted to point out.
All right.
There's that, and that's a perfectly a good explanation because yes, laughter does work, and yes, it is something that may prompt someone to actually look at this meme a little more deeply and see what it's
Yeah.
speaking to. But he says he also asked earlier, can you separate meme culture from troll culture? And that's where I want to, I wonder how much of,
Hmm.
and I'm talking about not necessarily just the humorous memes, because we can look at, I'll classify just funny memes that are just funny as
Yeah.
comedic memes, right? Those are just comedic, yeah, roasting memes, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
But there are memes that speak to the culture, that speak to the what we're dealing with. Are those rooted in a troll culture, or is there a separation between the troll culture and the meme culture?
Yeah, that's a really profound question. I don't know. I mean, I suppose you can, but they are very tightly, bound. I guess they're pretty much synonymous with each other. Because it's usually trolls who are making memes.
Right.
We refer to them as meme smiths, of course. They're the ones who actually create memes, and there's a very small amount of people who do that. Most of them you can find, the good ones at least, you can find on 4chan, and then it spreads to the lesser internet from there. Your Reddits, your
Well,
Facebooks, your
now
Twitter, and then eventually down to 9gag.
let me clarify something, because when you say I have to try and I'm old, so just bear with me.
Yeah,
When you say there's just a small handful of people that are creating the memes, I then look at you and go, well, anybody can create a meme.
yeah,
Like
anyone can.
I've created memes, right? So, but you're talking about the troll culture. Like there's a core troll culture that is creating the
Good memes,
the real meaty memes, right? Or what do they
right?
call? What are they called? What are the dank
Top
memes? The
tier,
dank
dank
memes,
memes, dank and fresh memes. That's
dank and
right.
fresh. Because I think
Super dank
the
memes.
terms constantly change. Nobody can just sit with one and let it ride for a couple
Yeah,
of
that's true. I haven't
decades.
really seen dank used unironically
Right.
to refer to a meme. I still use dank meme though. Um,
And
and
see,
when it's brand new, when I haven't seen it before, it's fresh.
see,
It's dank and it's
this
fresh.
is something that this is one of the things that it's one of those things that you have to be in. It almost seems like you have to constantly be watching meme culture to keep up
Yes.
with meme culture, so
Yeah.
you can even stay current with the ever constantly changing lingo of the meme culture,
Yeah.
and that's
Absolutely.
bothersome to me. Right? It's like, I mean, even slang should last for a while, right? Like
Not on the internet.
a decade, would have been a good,
No,
it's
not on
good.
the internet.
Used to it be quite a few years, but now it's like dank that is so the last 6 months,
Okay, yeah. I mean,
whatever you want.
most memes have a life expectancy of a week at best. The really, really good ones will have a lifespan of like maybe a month, maybe 2 months. Um, and then of course, you have like immortal memes that you can like bring up from 15 years ago, and people will still get it. In fact, I got the chance to use one recently. The Has anyone ever really been so far as to try to want to do look more like? I got to use that one, and I still have it memorized from 15 years ago, however long ago it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that's the whole lore behind that one. It's a copy pasta kind of deal, but you know,
So Seawalls makes a point. He says the meme culture is only moving so fast because it is under attack by the mainstream media. They have to change to avoid being taken out. Okay, so but in and of itself, doesn't
ooh,
that drive the meme culture? Keep the meme culture circulating in more of an echo chamber, because if suddenly things have changed, like dank, right? Like now suddenly dank is it's not the right terminology, right?
I
So
mean,
it's
it
like you're
really
out of
is.
you can be out
It
of
really
touch
is,
with
though.
you can
Yeah,
be out of touch very
you can.
quickly when it's
Yeah, bring
changing.
up a
So
Uganda Knuckles meme and see how much shit you get for that. How much shit you get flung at you for that.
so it's
You know.
almost like it's the kind of thing where it pulses in. It would seem to pulse
Hmm.
in cultural impact, and then reside as it changes again, and people have to become re-inundated with the new terminology, the new approach to meme, the changes in meme culture. With it, or just stay plugged in constantly, and that's just not going to. I'm not. Being plugged in like that, constantly on that shit, looking at it. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's wrong. There's no point to that. There's a real world out there. I mean, I would rather stand out in the garden and watch butterflies fly around from the thousands of flowers my wife has growing.
Gay.
Call it what you will, dude. But it's better than polluting my mind with so much crap that as of
Yeah.
that as I said, it's a passive aggressive way of trying to make a point. When go be an activist, get out there on the fucking stump and speak your mind, get
Well, I
people
mean,
to listen to you, get on
memes do get
YouTube.
people out there. I mean, so hang on. So the most recent one, the Area 51 meme, that was just a meme. And yeah, over like 2 million people said they were going to go, but several thousand people did show up. You know what I mean? That does make things happen in real life.
Now, what were the
I mean,
actual
there might not
number?
have been activists for some kind of thing,
Right.
but it was there and it spawned its own memes from there.
Well,
And that's kind of what a meme does: is that someone creates it, shares it, and then it takes on a life of its own.
sure. And
And Seawall's making a good point there. The concept of memes don't require you to be in the culture of memes to get the core meaning. The terms are only used by creators and initial adopters,
well,
which is mostly true. Yeah.
sure, but when you try to have a conversation about it, like myself, okay, if I want to have a conversation about it, if I'm thinking about the terms, because again, not being embroiled in the meme culture, I use a term like dank, and then I'm just, of course, then the idiots start going, oh, you're a boomer because you don't know the new terminology. It's
Right.
like
So,
it's
well,
like
the thing is, just
and,
embrace the meme. If
and
someone calls you a boomer, just be like, "Yeah, I'm a fucking boomer,"
but
and
I'm
that's
not.
it.
But I'm
It doesn't
not.
matter. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
It
and
doesn't
that's
matter.
that's
It
the
doesn't matter.
it should. I mean,
No, it doesn't.
it's what force. That's one of the things that makes the meme culture irrelevant to me, is that it doesn't care about actuality.
Well, no. What's going to happen is if it upsets you that to be called a boomer, then you're going to be called a boomer incessantly.
I have more of a problem with people misnaming things. That's
Yeah, but
just
that's
from a
why
language. It's
that's the iron. That's why it's funny. It's because it's not
So
used correctly. It's used in a different way.
so now it goes back to my original point. Then it means the meme culture is nothing more than a way to antagonize people, not produce results.
Well, that's on the troll side, but yes, Seawall over here, bringing out the actual
If you're
explanations.
outside of the media approved Overton window and you go out on the street to spread your idea, they will do everything in their power to try and ruin your life. Memes are a way to spread the idea to a far wide audience as well as prevent having your life ruined. Yet,
Yeah,
as John said, in a week, a meme's irrelevant. I mean,
usually, not always, but usually,
but
yeah. It's
but
not
when you
always irrelevant, but it loses its impact because it's already been shared everywhere. And then guess what? Another meme along the same lines will
sure,
be made, and then you spread that one around. I mean, that's just how it works. Especially when a meme is too spicy and it starts getting taken down everywhere. That's when you double your efforts and that's spread even more.
but I get on here, and my opinion, all the opinions I've made since the beginning of this show are still alive, still right there. My stump can be heard at any time. Right?
Yeah,
It's not like I have to put a quick thought out there in a
right.
meme in the
But
hopes that,
who's gonna go watch our 8th episode?
I don't
You
know,
know what I mean?
call India.
No, that's our first episode.
Right?
But my point
No,
is
I get
that
you.
was almost a year
Well,
ago, or
who
not a year
knows?
ago.
You never know. But the point is, it still exists, right? My opinion is
Yeah.
still there and can be tapped into at any time, right? So, there's a database of shit that can be taken out of context and used against me later on in the future, But when it's all said and done, this the impact. I want to know why if it's so relevant, why is it not making significant change in Washington? Why are we not seeing people doing more to make significant changes
I mean,
in
I think it
Washington
has.
because of the meme culture?
I mean, I don't think Congress necessarily works that way. It changes the minds of the individuals, the people who vote for people in Congress, or whose minds are going to be changed. Which means that if the memes work a certain way, the people in Congress will be changed when it
Okay.
comes to voting time.
Well, here's
And that's why I brought up Trump's election. I
right.
mean, that's the biggest one in recent memory. Is that Trump got elected largely
Okay.
due to memes.
So here's what I'll point. Something I'll say, and this what you just said can speak to it a little bit. But when I look at the difference that action makes, I can throw things out like the Million Man March. You know what I'm
Okay, what
talking.
about recently?
Berkeley. You know about that. You know about. But what I'm saying is this is when activism stood out, and these ideas had significant impacts on policy, had
Hmm.
significant impacts on the country because many people stood up and made their voice heard. We've had this happen through activism. Now, I'm not saying that people do it right these days, but
Oh, Seawall
but
makes a good point. Those were memes of their day.
yes, but that's my point. It
I
was
mean,
activism,
the "I Have a
real
Dream"
activism.
speech is a meme,
I mean,
right?
yeah, but it was on. He was on a stump, broadcasting it publicly for everyone to hear.
Yeah,
That would
and
come and listen.
Trump shares memes as well.
He puts stuff out there. I get that.
He shared
Yeah,
tons. He caused the CNN skirmishes with Han Asshole Solo. Rest in pieces. Um, yeah, I mean
I
that
guess
was
it.
and that was a huge movement against CNN. No, it
See,
wasn't super. It wasn't really effective, and in the moment, but it did sway a lot of people to no longer trust CNN, which was the goal.
well, Seawall, as Seawall was saying, he's talking about, because people in Washington list of focus groups have approved normies, these kind of things, and
Hmm.
and how, like actually doing something can, they'll try and ruin your life, this kind of thing. But it's
Yeah,
like, okay, so are you? We're saying that anybody with a real opinion that could have an impact has to cower behind a keyboard now. They can't. They don't. We can't come out and speak. We can't come out and, I don't know,
I mean we
run
do
for
though.
run for office in the community. Really
Well, I
get
mean,
your opinions out there,
there's plenty of
or
people
is
who
it
do that.
just is it better to troll?
There's plenty of people who do that. Yeah, I mean, we've had our, like there was the Unite the Right rallies a few years ago. There was the Patriot Prayer rallies that have been going on. That's just the right wing we're talking about at this point.
Sure. Okay.
There's been a whole bunch of movements like that. And then there was also the left side, all the
Hmm.
Antifa protests and all that kind of shit. There's plenty of people who
Right.
are going out there and trying to do something, however misguided they may be, whether you agree with what they're saying or not,
Right.
that they're trying to affect the change they want to see.
So that's
There's tons of people doing that.
So that's happening. And would you agree that the meme culture is just poking the bear on both sides to keep to fuck with those
No, not
things?
both sides. No, the meme culture is pretty much only going one way.
Really?
Yeah, there's a meme for that. In fact, the left can't meme, which is 100% true. The left these days, they used to be able to, and so they started having the fun police come around and police what you can and can't say, what you can and can't joke about. As soon as that happened, the left's memes died. That was the end of it. Now that it's just like a picture, like a stupid picture of Trump that makes him look bad, and then it's like a shitload of text over it, like that just way too convoluted, just really bad form. It's basically like communist, like a communist tank. You know, like it's a tank, but it's really shitty.
Communist
But they have a
tank.
shitload of them, though.
You can
Yeah,
you can say Russia because
yeah.
China's got some good tanks, don't they?
No, they don't.
They'll run a
No,
man over in the middle of the street and
that's true. They will.
just quick.
Most of their tanks are inflatable, though. To be fair, I don't know. I just made that up. Or a shit pick of Shrek. Yeah, Midget B's right about that. Or the lefty memes that steal working memes that just replace a few words. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They appropriate meme culture. Fucking degenerates.
So now this conversation, now you talking about this from the right and the left. Now I start to have to ask you this question, John.
Mm-hmm.
As a libertarian, and
Mm-hmm.
also I
Libertarians
know,
have their own
hold
memes
on,
as well.
as a libertarian and knowing you personally, I
Mm-hmm.
know that you're a rather liberal person.
In what way?
Well, I mean,
Tread lightly here.
right. I'm not going to out you on anything, but anyway.
I mean, no. I mean, there are some
I
things
mean,
that used to have been considered liberal.
I've looked at your political compass, and we've had these conversations where where we've talked. You're not as liberal as you used to be. I agree.
Yeah, certainly
You agree,
not. Yeah, no,
right?
I used to be. Yeah.
Right. But does it concern you at all to be swinging? That you might be swinging farther to the right.
No, I mean, I've taken the political compass test a few times recently, and no, I'm in the same place. I
And
mean, just that center right libertarian.
center right libertarian. See, that's
Yeah.
it's I worry sometimes that yeah, you got to stay really balanced on where you're at on that spectrum, John, because I think if you go too far to the right, you really got to start sacrificing some of that libertarian mindset. Just like if you go too far to the left, the same thing happens.
Yeah.
There's a very fine middle ground there
Well, I
that you
mean,
have to
it's
stay
all
within.
about. I mean, if you stick to your principles, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to stay, in the same spot.
Well, that's is the meme culture principled? I mean, do you
No, I would say no. It depends on who's making the meme, and that obviously will decide. Like the dankness of the meme will decide how far it spread and how long it lives, right? And that's the thing is, obviously you can put one thing out, and then you'll see it somewhere else with a completely different context to it, and things like that. So that's what I was talking about when if you are one of these people who makes memes and you put it out there, it takes on a life of its own. That's it. So you really can't control it once you put it out there.
Yeah, it's
And I mean, a meme can be made about anything.
well,
So
sure,
I
right.
wouldn't say that a meme is principled, but people with principles make memes, and people who don't have principles make memes. I mean, that's the thing is anyone can do it. Whether or not it's going to be a good meme is up to you, but anyone can do it.
Yeah, it's ultimately I think that the deep rooted concern I have is that it is just another cause of another another tool in the fracturing of the country, another thing that keeps people at odds with one another. Um, because in a way, there's a lot of memes that force you to question your reality. The things,
Yeah,
if
that would
you,
suck to not suffer from cognitive dissonance, wouldn't it?
um, and
Wouldn't want to
that
have to actually think about the things you believe, right?
right. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when because we're at a cultural point now that if you question someone's belief, you know, there's plenty of people out there that would call that a hate crime, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like you don't question my beliefs. That's just wrong. It's wrong for you to question my beliefs because your beliefs are wrong.
Right.
That's the mentality out there in a
Well,
lot of
that's where the
people.
NPC meme comes from, right?
Right.
It's like I know I'm right, I just can't explain why I'm right, and what you're saying makes a lot of sense, but you're wrong because I'm right, and this it doesn't compute. I'm infuriated now. That's pretty much how most conversations go, especially on like Twitter or something. It's pretty great. So it's a thing to behold, thing of beauty.
Seawall says conservatism is, and I believe that's greater than libertarianism.
Yeah,
Society must be. And maybe that was supposed
must
to
be
be
kept stable, or
slash.
what freedoms you
Must be
have
kept
and
stab, or what
enjoy.
freedoms you have to enjoy will be lost either by the mob or by an authoritarian.
Yeah, that's a totally different discussion
Kept
to
stable.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's you know, the meme culture. It's antagonistic in a lot of ways, and that is, to me, antagonism in this country creates more divide. This is one of the problems I have with Trump, right? No matter
Mm-hmm.
that he does good things, the shit he did today, I have to applaud that he did it. I will question the timing, yes, because I question everything, right? I'll question the timing of why he did it. I'll even question the fact of, does his property in Istanbul have anything to do with the decision he made? Just like other people raise that question. But, um, the antagonistic approach with so much of what he says creates more division than it heals.
No, I mean he's a symptom of meme culture, not the cause of it.
So,
And he's also a symptom of the antagonism and not the cause of it.
sure, but he's not.
He's just a symptom.
I understand that, but he could have been, if he wanted to, he could be the cure to the
No,
partisan.
I don't think so.
You don't think there's any way to heal the divide in Washington between the
Not,
two
I don't think.
sides?
No, I don't think Trump can do it.
Well, do you think so? He could have taken that approach, or they never
No,
would have
I
let
don't
him.
think. Yeah, they never would have let him. He was already Hitler. There's nothing that he could do to stop it. So he's actually making the best moves he could make by
Yeah.
being the way that he is.
Uh,
It's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong, but it is the best thing he can do.
um,
Unfortunately.
so now, one thing I will say, now while I was, I guess the meme culture's been around for a long time. We used to call it, trolls. They
Flaming,
were
yeah,
flaming, and they would post images of goofy
yeah.
pictures, this,
Stop
that, and the
flaming
other,
my post.
right?
Yeah,
And throw flames out there, and this, that, and the other. That's what we call trolls. And meme,
yeah,
the meme culture was trolls and flaming. That was
yeah.
basically what it was then.
Well, that's
Um,
where the copy pastas come from. Most
hmm,
of the time, it's people, either people flaming or people getting pissed off. That's usually the reaction that was turned into a copy pasta, which of course is just copy paste their text. For those boomers who don't understand what a copy pasta is.
now, see,
Start
Seawall
the
makes a
thing.
point. He says Trump is a pressure release
So
valve.
fun.
He allows society to. He is allowing society to vent this, at least one side vent. The other side doesn't have one and will likely explode. We didn't start the flame war. But anyway, that was funny. We didn't start the flame war.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which,
There's,
remind me off mic. We got to talk.
okay,
But
there is
anyway,
an actual song that's a parody of Billy Joel's
right, gotcha.
song. So that is We Didn't Start the Flame War.
But I get what
Yeah.
I understand. Um,
Yeah.
but when you say Trump, the problem is the venting. See, that's the good point, because Trump put something if he's putting inflammatory things out there all the time, then it makes, I think it makes people think that they can be inflammatory towards other people. And so
Well,
they go out, yeah, people are venting. And people are
yeah.
venting at other people in
Mhm.
reality, not behind a keyboard with memes.
Well,
So
they are doing that as well, yeah,
true,
but they are
but
also doing it IRL, yeah.
but you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I know what you
people
mean,
are
yeah.
feeling more bold in expressing their frustrations
It's because there hasn't been
publicly,
any real consequences yet
but in a
for them
negative way,
being violent.
not in an activist way, right? It's not like they're
Right.
out there, they're to an extent attacking people, doing the kind of things that, like, okay, this is when words, this is not my thought. This is when words become weapons, the way people are attacking each other over these politically motivated cultural issues, right?
Hmm.
I think politics is having more of an impact on culture than culture is having on politics. at this present time, to where, the culture war is gaining momentum because politics is fracturing the society with,
Right.
and he is in that instance. Yes, Trump may be a symptom, but he's also become an instigator to a certain extent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that concerns me. That's the concern I have, and that's where the meme culture comes in, where it's like, okay, do
Well,
we need
so
something else stirring the pot?
there's an easy solution to stopping the effectiveness of the meme culture as it is at the moment, and that would be if people stopped getting so offended by them.
But
That's the issue.
that's
Is
what.
that
But
when
that's
hang on
okay.
no because that's what causes more of it to happen. It's
Sure.
because that's what you're looking for with the meme or with any kind of troll, that you use. It's you're looking to get a reaction. You're looking
Sure.
to really
I.
rile somebody
Uh
up,
huh.
and the left is an easy target for that
Okay. But
because they get offended at everything.
think
So
about what
you
you're
so you do
saying.
that, and they get offended, and then you do it again and again and again, and then it's just. But the thing is, though, like the journalists on the left know that that's the case, and I don't believe most of them are really actually offended. They just get offended so that you'll click on their article and read about how offended they are, and then you give them accolades and you give them oh, we're here for you, we support you, and they get that little dopamine rush of, oh, people actually like me, I'm supported, so they kind of do that to themselves. They'll see something and then write an article about it, and
Yeah.
then it just stirs more and more up. So they're not innocent in this either.
But when it's all said and done, think about what you're saying. It's
Yeah,
it's it's kind of like me saying, I'm going to insult you personally, John. Just toughen your skin up and take it.
yeah. No, you should.
But that
That is
no.
absolutely what you should do.
Why should we be okay with an insult culture? Why should it? Why?
Because instead of me crying and breaking down about it, and I'm gonna make a 3 hour stream crying about Robert insulted me, he called me a faggot or something, and now I'm mad. Please donate to my GoFundMe. You know what I mean? Instead of doing that, I could just be like, "Fuck you too."
Okay.
I mean, how easy is that? And then,
Well,
what
I,
power does what you say have
I'll tell you
anymore?
exactly the
None.
power it
No
has.
power.
I'll tell you exactly the power it has. If I
All
sat
right.
and insulted you personally,
Mm-hmm.
constantly, what would that do to our friendship?
If it was an actual insult,
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about.
well, see, that's memes don't really do that. But all right.
Yeah, no, that a lot
I
of
mean,
memes
yeah.
are
If
intended
it
to
insulted me,
insult a particular
I
segment
know.
of the population.
If it actually insulted me enough, then I would stop. I would break contact with you and not have any contact with you anymore. I mean, what else would I do, right? What am I gonna? What again? I'm not gonna just cry about it.
I mean,
I'm
I
just gonna be
mean,
like, well, you're a piece of shit, so I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. I mean,
it's like saying, if I put out a meme that said, use the N word and said ends be black, just make a funny
okay,
meme, ends be black. That's going to
yeah.
offend people. And I'm not talking
Well,
about
do they
using the
be
soft A. I'm talking about using the hard
right?
R.
No, I'm
That's
kidding.
that's me putting a racist
Right.
insult out there. And then
So you
I
know what
just
you
got to say,
do?
you know what? All you African Americans just toughen up. Take it.
Well, yeah. So if you're a black
Right?
person, you see that as you're scrolling through Twitter, you know what you do? You keep scrolling. Look at that. It's gone now. It's gone now. You can't see it anymore. How easy is that? And then now it's had no effect.
So that's what it should be. That's where we want the culture to be, where we sit around and just insult each other and take shots at one another, in
Well,
this way
that's what
to
men used to be able to do to each other. Be able to go up to someone, and be like, "Hey, what's up, fag?" And they're like, "Oh, what's up, douchebag?" You know what I mean? Like it. But now you
okay.
do that, and now you have to wheel up a
Well,
hoodie and be like, "I'm sorry, I said this.
no,
I'm
you can do that
sorry."
with you can do that with your friends, with people you know. I
Yeah.
mean, there's relationships. You don't have relationships with these people that you're just blanket insulting with this meme or that meme. You know, you don't.
So
It does become personal in many instances.
so
That's the
go on
problem.
4chan and try not to get called a faggot in like 10 seconds.
I
It's gonna
understand that.
happen. And what does it do? Nothing. Nothing. It does nothing.
I
It does nothing. And Seawall's got the exact right point. Sticks and stones. Exactly.
Okay, so
I mean,
here's the
just
thing. So people start just ignoring it and toughening up their skin.
yeah.
Does that mean it's going to stop? No,
Yes.
it's going to
Because it's
ramp up.
ineffective.
No,
No,
it's
it's
going to
ineffective.
ramp up. No,
For a
no,
little while,
no.
maybe.
The
Trying
trolls
to get
always
that.
want to keep
Oh
trying to
my
push
god.
the buttons.
Yes.
Trolls will want to keep pushing buttons no matter how
Yes, and
far it
when
goes.
something doesn't work, they move on to another point of
Yeah,
approach. And
they dox them. They
they
start doxing
no,
people. Yeah, come
that's
on,
not trolling.
come on,
No,
John.
that's not trolling anymore.
Oh, that's not
That's not
trolling.
trolling anymore. No, it's
Oh,
not
it's not
trolling.
trolling anymore.
No.
I
No,
don't.
no, what I'm saying is you've gone beyond the point of trolling is what I mean.
So
And that's not insulting someone, that's actually putting someone's life in danger.
right, that's what I'm saying. Once you get
There's
to
a
the point
difference
where
between
people are not
trolling
being
and
offended
putting
by your memes, you got to ramp it up. That's what trolls do.
no,
Their whole
most
goal
trolls do
is
not do that. No.
to try and push somebody's buttons.
Yeah, most people do not dox. Most people are actually against that.
Okay, so whatever it is, even not doxing aside, they will try and ramp up the
No, they'll
antagonism
find another
of
target that is not as thick-skinned. That's what they'll do. They'll
why.
leave you alone,
What's the point?
or they'll just make snide memes instead, and you're just like, oh, that's funny. You embrace it
But
as well.
what is the point? What is the point?
What's the point is to rile people up. That's the
Why?
whole point of trolling, at least.
Right, to rile people up. Why is that good in a culture where we need to have some unity here to where we can get this country back in a place that we want it to be? I mean, why do we
Okay.
want to stir shit up that just makes people antagonistic towards one another and has no
Mostly
impact?
because it's fun. Mostly because it's fun.
See, that's the
Seawall has another good point here. The right wing meme brigade did not start this war. They're responding to being attacked, which is true.
yes. There goes the right taking
Well, I
their
mean, is that not true?
taking their turn at playing the victim. Everybody's responsible for their own actions.
Well,
We
the
didn't
difference
start it.
is
We
they're
didn't
not.
start it. This is a millennial
Yeah.
concept. I will say this now. This is a millennial concept that has become more and more prevalent in the present day and age. We didn't start this. We didn't do this. We didn't do this. Somebody else is responsible for this. We're just the victims. No.
No. No
Two
one's saying they're
wrongs don't make
victims.
a right.
No, but they do make an airplane.
They
And
do. They used to,
yeah,
but they no longer
they
do.
did.
They don't even
Yeah.
do that. See, that's this idea is,
Anyway.
oh, we're going to keep doing it because somebody else did it first. This mentality is stupid. It's just stupid.
I mean, if you think it's stupid, that's fine. You don't have to take part in it.
I mean, what
But
is it? The question is, what does it serve? To continue doing something that you want to blame somebody else for doing first, you're just doing something somebody else did. What's the point? That's like the kid. Oh, Johnny stole the cookie first, so it's okay that I did it.
no, that's not at all what's going on. No.
Because
So ridiculous.
but see, that's Seawall's made that point multiple times. We didn't start this, and Trump didn't start
It's
this.
a
He's a
symptom.
symptom, right? No,
Right.
he's a carrier now. He's not a symptom. He's a fucking carrier.
He's certainly taking part in it,
But
but
I mean, that's what I'm saying is, break the cycle. Who breaks the fucking cycle?
normies who are not involved in internet culture don't even feel the effects of it really. They'll share boomer memes on Facebook and that's about it. Right, it goes nowhere.
And ultimately, but what are they involved in? Are normies the ones that are actually taking part in trying to make change in Washington?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
politics?
a lot of there's a lot of normies that are in the Senate or in the House, or there was a normie president before this one.
I mean, we are in such a blame culture these days. It's unbelievable. And Trump again is a big one for that. There's always somebody else. Don't look at me. Joe Biden's corrupt. Don't look at me. Joe Biden's corrupt. And I get it. And none of this may have been real. He may not have done anything wrong, whatever. But every time a scandal has come out about Trump,
Okay, but
he has someone else to
But let's talk about
blame.
memes instead of Trump.
But Trump is a fucking meme, a living
He's a
persona of
living
a
meme.
fucking meme.
He really is. It's so great.
I mean, if he got elected from the meme culture, and he is a walking, talking fucking meme, you can't, I mean, you have to address this as far as what spurs the meme culture and what takes it to the level that it's at.
But yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to like why we do this, and what the point behind it, it's mostly entertainment, mostly just fun. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, with this whole like responding to being attacked, and they started this. I don't know, because there's been quote unquote meme wars for a long time, so I don't know if you can even really say that.
And this is, and Sewell says, Rob, you realize that the left, please call me Robert. Only my brother calls me Rob. He's the only one allowed. It's just one of my things, I'm old. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a trigger.
You realize that the left is so corrupt, and I'm going to stop you right there. Do not fucking tell me that the right is not just as corrupt as the left. That when they investigate their political enemy, their own crimes are already there, and that happens on both.
The only things that show up.
And that happens on both sides. That happens on both sides. This witch hunt that Trump calls it, that they're after him. Mm-hmm. I'll flash you right back to Bill Clinton being in office and the witch hunt that went on the entire time he was in office by the Republicans.
Sure.
It was horrendous. They were looking for anything because they, yes, they believed that the Clintons were corrupt. Many of us believe there was corruption in the Clintons. They believe that they killed, they hid bodies, and I agree. We don't. But
what have we found about Trump so far?
And again, it's like if they're, this is one of those corruption things where I'm like, if there's fucking evidence, put the people away, do something about it. But this happens on both sides, and both sides are corrupt.
What have we found on Trump so far? See, they actually found things on Clinton, on the bill. Maybe not at the moment, but recently, especially in the past 4 or 5 years, we've seen most of their corruption come to light, mostly due to the wide availability of the internet, I would say. You can actually look at the history of, where money is moved from one place to another.
Sure, but you know what? Let's we can sugarcoat it and not call it corruption, but the man does questionable things. I mean, even today, pulling out of Syria, one of the things to bear in mind is that he has.
Want to talk about this?
No. I don't really want to talk about it. I'm just pointing out that this idea that there's everybody's pointing right now. Everybody is just screaming that the Democrats are corrupt. That the left is corrupt. The left is corrupt. I don't give a fuck what you say. In Washington, for I'll say at no less than the last 30 plus years, they've been corrupt and dividing because of the corruption more and more. The corruption in Washington is what I think has created the division in Washington.
But so in the last, I would say the last 4 years, I can think of one like scandal that a Republican is an actual legitimate scandal that a Republican has come under fire for, and that's the guy, like the pedophile guy in Alabama. I think it was Alabama, and it's not super substantiated. It was kind of a Me Too thing, but there was a lot of evidence for it.
Wait, but didn't Me Too catch a few Republican and Democrat politicians? Weren't there politicians on both sides caught with a Me Too scandal?
I'm trying to think.
Allegations. I mean,
it's also just allegations.
Well, but people. I understand. People quit their jobs over allegations.
Yeah, no, I can think of who's that guy you like from the Democrat side?
Oh,
the comedian
Al Franken.
Al Franken, yeah. He stepped down for some bullshit. Like, obviously he's a Democrat, but whatever. Like, he didn't deserve, to get outed for that. That's fucked up. But come on, that was nothing.
But
Like, God damn it.
again, the only reason why you haven't seen anything on any other Republicans is, of course, because I mean
Oh wait, Jake.
they've got the
Who
hot
was
plate.
it? Who was it, Jake? He said there was a Republican representative who got busted for corruption last year. I mean, fair
Yes.
enough then. Fair enough then. But yeah, just
And,
tell me
and
who it
and
was.
sure,
But
there haven't been a lot of Republicans coming under fire because they've got the fucking Christmas goose sitting in the Oval Office. I mean, the goose that
yeah, but
laid the
it
golden
hasn't laid
egg
a
is
gold. It hasn't laid a golden
that
egg
does
yet.
whoa. John, if you give a dog a bone, he is going to gnaw on that thing for quite some time before he buries it. And
Yeah.
oftentimes, I don't really understand where that comes from because most dogs I've seen will gnaw on that fucking bone until they finally break it down and eat the son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Or
but
they'll leave it sitting in the yard.
back to the goose that laid the golden egg analogy. Scammed. I think someone offered to sell them a golden goose or goose that
Yeah,
lays the
they
golden
just
egg, and it just hasn't yet. It's just sitting around.
he's just
And they're
he's
just like,
just
come on, do it, lay the egg. Just, nope.
he does too many things that make him a tasty target. And I don't that's where it's like you would think the meme culture, if it was really that strong, if it got him elected, how has it why can't that shut Democrats down? How is it not? That's what it should. That's the power of it, right? That should be the
Mm-hmm.
power of the meme culture.
Well, it's turned a lot of people away from the left. There was a whole like hashtag why I left the left, or why I walked away from the left or whatever. It's led a lot of people away from the left because it shows people how ridiculous the left is acting at the moment and how unreasonable they are. It breaks that mental conditioning that you have when you consume only one type of media. And I mean, yeah, most of the mainstream media is leftist. I mean, yeah, you can bring up Fox News, but that's one, and that's not even that right wing.
Well,
right? That's one out of MSNBC, CBS, CNN.
right, and
BBC.
Seawall's speaking to that in the chat, and he says the
Yeah,
Dems have a direct line to the MSM. If there was the mainstream media, if there was high grade corruption on the right, the media would crucify him because the mainstream media is using everything they have to shield the Dems and attack the right. Now,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying there, Seawall, but I will say this: whatever will sell subscriptions to newspapers, and I'm using that as an overarching term for newspapers online, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, I'll refer you back to the Clinton years. The mainstream media was tore that son of a bitch up. It was a constant roast fest, and that was Republicans. Whoever is in media favor with the juiciest stories, that's who's going to have the media in their pocket. So
not anymore. I would think not anymore.
It happened during the Clinton years. It happened during the Bush years. Look at what the media did to Bush during with Iraq and everything. Whether it's a Dem or whether it's a Republican in office, wherever the fire is, whoever is trying to stoke fire in Washington, the media is going to chase that because that's where the stories are at. So the Dems going after Trump, yes, the mainstream media is all over it. And yes, the better thing to sell newspapers is to take a position that paints him as a bad guy. And to, even going so far as, involving the meme culture or trying to kill off memes that don't suit the narrative because it's going to sell newspapers. I mean, this is about a for-profit game for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But Seawall's actually BTFOing you at the moment in the chat. He's been exceptionally good tonight.
He says, "What does the media do 24/7? They attack Trump, right? And they do. They
Deflect
attack
from
him.
the left's crimes.
The media downplayed making fun of the Repubs while poking fun at Clinton. Yes, the media downplayed making fun of the Republicans while poking fun at Clinton. Yes. So, but you don't think? I mean, that's assuming that.
Read the rest of it, though.
Well, then shielded Obama. Yes, but Obama didn't have scandals to expose.
Yeah, he really did, though.
Well, he did,
He
but
really did. That's why
you
you think that there weren't,
but
is
what was
because
his
they weren't
shield?
talked
What
about.
was his shield?
The mainstream media.
Well, but what was
They
his
didn't
real
talk about
shield? What was his real shield?
the mainstream media.
No, the fact that he
And the
was the
fact that
first
he was
African
half
American
black. Yeah.
president. He was the first African American
I mean,
president.
that was another
So
shield. Yeah,
yes, that
but
was. I think
the
that
real
was
one was
his.
the mainstream media.
Sure, but news media is going to jump where the stories are at, and they're going to spin it the way that sells papers. Fox News is on the side of Trump because it sells news. Because if the more they're on, the more views they get, the more advertising dollars they get. They're all in it for the same game. They picked that horse, and other media has picked Trump as the horse to run with.
Okay,
Everybody's got their
right.
bias.
But no. I mean, the reason that it's ramped up a lot more recently is because of who the places are hiring, who the media places are hiring.
Hmm?
They're hiring mostly leftists just out of college,
At this
right?
point in time, that's true.
Interns,
Do they
especially
have a
doing certain
choice?
research. I mean, they do.
I mean, are
You
colleges
can
really putting out very many right-minded individuals these days?
No, they're really not. But they're also not putting out quality people. They're not putting out people with a good education. They're putting out brainwashed people. That's what they're doing, and it's costing. Like Steve was saying there. CNN and MSNBC are losing views. New York Times is losing subscriptions. I
Sure.
mean, it's had
Yeah.
a really bad effect on them, which is why
Well,
that they have to really ramp up the rhetoric in order to keep those clicks coming.
right.
And unfortunately, people on YouTube were guilty as well of doing this, of sharing the articles, in videos and streams and stuff, which of course gets other people to click, the people in the chat to click, or people watching after. Obviously, your initial click, oh, I'm going to read this on the stream tonight, and then you click it again. You know what I mean?
Sure, clicks, but
So,
I mean, and
right.
that's
So
and
the outrage really is what they're clicking,
well,
what
hold
you're
on.
clicking for, and this is like a thing that they've got down pat.
I have to argue though, and a very strong point. And yes, I understand that the media, from a financial standpoint, is maybe suffering. As like I said,
Hmm.
who was it just said that about money? CNN it was losing views.
Yeah.
Okay, so most people don't want to pay for shit on the internet when they want to get information, right?
Yeah.
Then
It's
turn
not
around
paying for
and
shit though.
okay, listen, let me finish.
Right.
They don't want to pay for stuff. What do media sites want? Subscribers. I mean, New York
Hmm.
Times wants you to subscribe, pay a monthly fee to have access to their newspaper. They have ads for ad revenue. What are most people tending to use now on their browsers? Ad blockers. So now there's a
Yeah.
new wall going up that says, oh, you have an ad blocker. Either stop it or you can just pay a subscription. So, finding
Hmm.
ways to stop you from getting that free information. Because, it's just like porn. The porn industry isn't making as much money as it used to because you can get so much porn free,
Yeah.
right? Um, that is going to be that is the death of the newspaper ultimately. This is what I saw a long time ago was going to be the
Hmm.
death. Why do I want to pay for a newspaper to come to my house when I can just find the information free online?
Yeah.
And so media sites, surprisingly enough, the real answer is stop putting out irrelevant media.
Yeah,
or,
that'd be
or
nice,
or
wouldn't it?
stop putting out media at all. I mean,
But we
stop
have
trying to
opinion
make money
pieces to
off of
write,
it,
Robert.
right?
We have opinion pieces
Well,
to write. It's
but
some
those if
blue
they're
haired, blue check
hold
marked
on,
feminist needs to
but
write it.
the op-ed has always been out there. The op-ed is not something new.
Right. I know.
Newspapers in print have had that for decades. You want to hear personal opinions sometimes. Sometimes it's good. It makes you think.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the difference is you haven't always been able to go to Starbucks and drink your $8 mocha frappuccino latte, whatever the fuck, while on your I don't know, whatever your Apple laptop is, and rail about capitalism. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't always been able to do that. Now you
no,
can. Now
no.
we can.
But
You know.
it's this idea that I mean, I think yes, they're ramping up the rhetoric for sensationalism because ultimately it's hopefully going to lead to dollars. I don't think it's the best avenue, and I hate
No,
what's happening to media, and I don't trust anything that I read. Um, but the meme culture, I think, has an impact on that as well. It's the idea that you know you as a person involved in the meme culture can look at a meme and get information from that meme in a short burst,
yeah,
right? So what does that lead to? In my opinion, I think a lot of people, it leads to what you were talking about. People that just read the headlines and think they're gleaning all the information from the
sure,
headlines, right?
sure,
Having a
yeah.
negative impact because readers don't, they're readers, who readers are not what they used to be. I mean, I've watched how writing for internet content has had to be dumbed down, shortened, more compact, short sentences because people don't understand, get confused or don't want to wade through, longer sentences with too many commas. And, I need
Hmm.
to hear see Dick run, see Jane run, see Dick grope Jane. That's what they need to see in their news articles because
Yeah.
it makes it easy for them to read. It's a lazy reading culture
Well,
now.
yeah, articles are a lot shorter nowadays too, but that's
Sure.
because they can just pump them out several a day. You know what I mean? They can just take whatever information has come in and put it out there within minutes, regardless of whether it's true or not. And that's a huge problem as well.
I have to I'm gonna interject. Jay Edgar says it's also much more enjoyable to watch probably a teen college girl. Good, he put college in there.
Yeah.
With a giant ass get plowed by the quarterback on a cell phone camera than a poorly scripted production with corny music. That's what killed porn. Fight me. I will fight you because I'm going to tell you right now. I don't
No, I
care.
agree with that.
I don't care who you are. The build up, the little bit of build
No,
up
fuck
between
the
those
build
two,
up.
where he's out there on the field and she's out there, she's
Oh my
cheering, and he
god.
looks over and he checks out her ass, and she kind of bends over to pick up the pom pom she dropped, teasing him.
Oh my
You like
god.
you
No, that's
like the
so
tease build
lame.
up. Tell me you don't like the
No,
tease build up when you're with
I
your
don't.
fiance.
I don't because it's for that. Yeah, that's different than watching
Ah,
porn.
no,
That's
no.
different than watching porn.
Let
Yeah.
me take you back to the golden days of porn.
No, fuck the golden
When
days of
porn
porn.
porn
There's
was
way too
just
much hair
stuff with
involved.
production value.
There was way too much
Not
hair involved
always.
back then.
Not always. Sometimes the guy shaved.
See, Seawall's on my side. The buildup is crap. Especially when they
uh,
try to have like a little story and stuff to go with it. Oh my god, that's the
okay.
worst.
Okay, I'll tell you what. There was I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think his name was Michael Nin. He was a porn producer. I don't quote me on the name. But anyway, somebody put I was somewhere, porn video got put in, and it opens on a woman sitting at an easel, and she's painting a beautiful flower. And she's painting
Gay.
this flower. She's painting this flower, and it's this very beautiful flower. And as you look at it, you start to realize, man, that flower she's painting looks like a flower that would look like a vagina. And then the
Hmm.
next thing you know, she takes the brush and puts it in the other hand, and then takes two of her fingers and pushes it into the canvas. And apparently they had cut a hole in the canvas and there was actually a vagina there. And she starts fingering a girl through the canvas. But there was a good 2 minute buildup of her painting and looking all pretty and sexy and nice music. And as she's painting this, and it's getting very erotic. And then the next thing you know, she's diddling this painting. And I'm like,
Oh my
did not
god.
see that coming because he had shot it so well. You didn't see that it was real.
That's so lame. Oh my
So I'm
god.
just telling you that buildup.
It
I
sounds like it's just something that
I
would be at Sundance instead
in
of
less
like
than
on
60
Pornhub.
seconds after
Just
she
saying.
switched the paintbrush to the other hand, I didn't. I stopped watching the video. I didn't need it anymore. The buildup was the thing.
Oh, look at that. Seawall's over there advocating democracy all of a sudden. He's saying
I
all in favor of buildup is a good thing in porn, say aye. All
see.
opposed say nay. I say nay.
See, this is the problem with your instant gratification generation. That's why many of you only read the headlines because you get your instant gratification from the headlines. I just found
I
out
mean,
everything I need to know about Joe Biden's corruption because I read a headline that said he was corrupt.
Well, yeah, those people are idiots. But there's a difference between
But does the meme culture not spur that on?
There's a reason. There's a difference between just like rubbing one out and like educating yourself on politics and current events.
No, they're very much the same.
No, it's not.
Because it's all just a big circle jerk, no matter which way you go.
It looks like you have another supporter there, Robert. Jake from Freedom Scoop.
Jake,
looks like he's going to say
I gotta get
build up.
I'll tell you what. I'll ask you this. Let's take a vote. What's your favorite male character in a porn video? Is it the quarterback? Is it the plumber? Is it the pizza delivery guy? See?
No, I don't have a no.
See, because some of us still appreciate those little aspects where it's like, oh, the pizza delivery guy comes to the door because you know what it
build up his crap.
What it takes you
He
back
only
to
likes Asian. Yeah, Sewell only likes hentai and like Japanese schoolgirl.
That you know what it is? It's because your generation was not exposed enough to penthouse letters.
First porno mag I ever had was a penthouse, actually.
But when you got on the internet, how much did you look at?
Oh, yeah, that was it. No, right. It was over after that.
The first time I was ever introduced to porn, I was 11 years old and found a Penthouse Forum magazine off in the hills while we were up gathering rocks for a storm cellar, and took that thing home, and it was a Penthouse Forum, so it was a whole magazine with nothing but penthouse stories.
And see, well, you meant to say that you could take and then leave the schoolgirl stuff.
Now he said college. He did say college schoolgirls, and that
Sewell did.
J. Edgar in his example he gave earlier.
Of course, Ed had written a penthouse letter. Dear
is that true or is that fake news?
I always thought these were fake, but until it happened to me, yeah, right. Those fucking.
Not all of them start that way, by the way.
Most of them did.
Yes, that is true, Jake from Freedom Scoop. They Penthouse always tried to convince you the slutty gal cleaning the pool was paying for college. Robert only reads Penthouse for the articles. Actually, no. Playboy was what I read for the articles. Actually, Playboy went through a few phases where they were very politically active. Not as much as Hustler, though. Hustler, no, Larry
Ed, you can't wait till off air. You have to share it now.
No, I just want to know if it's true that he actually wrote a Penthouse letter and sent it to Penthouse or submitted it to Penthouse.
I can see that.
And then the real question after that is, was it published? Those are the only two things I need to know. Your sick, perverted little episode, I don't need to know about that because I'm sure it involves a headboard camera and a monkey wrench.
No, he just sent in his Star Trek fanfic. That's what it was. It was Picard and Troy going at it. That's what he sent in.
Now, Sewell says the schoolgirl is usually the worst when it comes to the stories in porn. But I have to say this, Sewell.
I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. So.
Have you ever been a teacher?
Yeah,
or
you'll never know that feeling.
Or
you'll never know that feeling when senpai notices you. You'll never know that.
I never taught in school, but I have stood in front of classrooms teaching people things. And, sometimes they just look at you from their seat, and it's like, did you just look at me that way?
Go ahead and update your blog there, Robert.
My blog?
Yeah, just update your blog, please.
Oh, I got a Penthouse letter to write. So, yes,
true,
yes, he actually wrote it. Yes, he submitted it. No, it was not published.
Right.
It's a hotel story. When he was a bellboy. That one time when he was a bellboy.
Right. And the recent widow, the rich widow who was coming to stay at the hotel. Yeah.
And her sister who was there to comfort her.
Right. And then suddenly they're lesbians. I've seen this story before.
Right. They went down to the pool and they asked him if he could go up to the room and get something for them, and they decided to go back up to the room. And
no. What happened was he goes into the room and there's a bag sitting on one of the beds.
Oh,
There's two beds, of course, and of course it's open already, and he's like, "Oh, what's in here?" And there's big black dildos.
And then he gets caught looking at their toys.
Yeah. I
wonder if there was any pegging. All right. Now that we've digressed
Right.
a
We got a
little,
little far from memes.
but anyway, so I just I tried
How the fuck do we still have 7 people watching? You guys are filthy, filthy fucking animals.
say
I love
porn and
it.
people come.
People stick around,
Wait,
yeah.
well, let me rephrase that.
They stick around.
Now, I will ask this question. Since Seawall brought it up, I wonder if the best hentai plots in anime video is still up. I should send it to you guys. It is a meme, to be honest. So
Very nice. We do live
now,
on the internet.
if it's anime, if it's hentai porn, do you watch the story?
I mean, I don't watch hentai, so
That would be a question for anybody who's
Really
into that, because I know there's people that are into it. But how about you, Seawall? Are you a hentai fan? But you watch the stories there, but you won't watch the stories. The production stories.
all I envision it is like some cartoon white dude, because that's how Japanese people draw anime characters. They're white. He's just like naked somehow, and like he's just got a huge dick, but it's censored, of course. It's Japanese porn. And then the girl like turns around and sees it, and she's like, "Oh, nani?" Like that.
Have you?
And then tentacles come out of the dick, and then I don't know, stuff happens after that.
Yeah. The tentacles. The first time I saw tentacles involved, I was like, okay, yeah. There's nothing here. There's nothing worthwhile here. So I went back to looking at Simpsons porn. Hey, Marge's hair is hot.
Oh my god.
I can't believe I just outed myself about Marge. So hopefully we get plenty of likes about the porn. I don't know, man. It's the meme culture. Now I'm surprised there's not more porn in that, but there is. I've been seeing some lately. Some folks have been posting some in Discord that are walking a fine line.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All these girls just are really thirsty.
Yeah, they're thirsty. They haven't had a drink in like
water.
2 days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
they were thirsty.
You like that one. You know that one shit was funny.
No, I've watched that video, I think.
Oh, man.
Because the reality is that, anybody could have a group of... have you seen any of the...
Seawall makes a good point. He pretty much just rounded it out. Talks about memes and ends up with porn. This video is the internet in a nutshell. Right? Yeah, basically. All things end in porn on the internet.
Have you seen any of these advertisements? I don't know, for these, like this new genre of porn games that you can go online and play. Have you seen any of these advertisements?
Oh yeah, Internet Historian actually put out a video where they go down the rabbit hole on his incognito mode channel.
Nice.
Where they go down the rabbit hole and like try to they play like some of the sex games and stuff. It's pretty. I recommend go watching it. It's fun.
I find it hilarious when I see those advertisements because 8 times out of 10, it's going to be some behemoth monstrous thing. It goes back to the anime tentacles, right?
Yeah.
This big monstrous orc minotaur looking thing, whatever it might be, with like a 6-foot wide unit, not long, wide,
yeah.
and she's just champing it, right? And I'm like, yeah, because that just looks so realistic.
It's always like, don't play this game. You won't last 5 minutes or something like that.
I'm like, you're right. I clicked the fucking ad closed in 5 seconds. Right? You're right. I did not last 5 minutes.
I did not.
And then I have to ask myself, who's sitting out there? Who is sitting out there? Just finds that interesting at all. But
apparently some people click it because they keep making them. So
they're like the Harbor Freight of porn.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so ultimately, meme culture is just a bunch of fucking trolls trying to antagonize people, and that part's working, but it's not solving anything.
I disagree with that, but that's fine.
I'm not. Well, I haven't heard you call Trump a solution to anything. All I've heard you call him is a symptom.
He solved some stuff. But that's a whole different discussion, whether or not Trump is effective or not as a president.
Well, how I feel about it. Some say it. Sometimes he do, sometimes he don't. Today was a good day or a questionable day. That's what you've got.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what it's got to be with Trump anymore. It's like either he did something
Seawall
good.
the Seawall says, "Yeah, I don't know if we nuked the Japanese too much or too little. It was too little. 2 bombs was not enough. Anime is
Why?
trash.
Why? How many
This anime is
how many
trash.
tentacles do you think there would be if there was more radiation over there?
No. They would be gone. There wouldn't be any tentacles
The
because they would be
tentacles will
gone.
always come back.
Not the tentacle porn.
I mean, is Hiroshima still a thing?
That is some degenerate shit.
Is it?
Not as it was.
Hey, well, nothing stays the same, John.
Yeah, especially when you nuke it.
Don't
you correct me, Seawall?
The tentacles actually predate the nukes.
How dare you correct me?
They predate the nukes. Oh my goodness! Maybe that's why we nuked them. Truman was Did you see that? Did you see this? As soon as I saw those tentacles, I knew I got to blow those bastards up.
That's right. Yeah, just got to wipe these degenerates off the face of the earth.
How dare you ruin my perfectly good porn with tentacles?
Right.
Eat babies. That's right, Jake. Eat babies. We gotta make ourselves a big baby muffalata and go to town. All right, listen up. I'm ready to get the hell out of here.
We went way over.
What time
is
it?
That's awesome. 10:45.
Fuck me.
Yeah, man. Some of us have to work tomorrow, guys. We can't be talking about porn all night, all right?
But we could.
We could.
So says 75% of the internet traffic out there.
It's true.
They only exist in hentai today to bypass censorship laws in Japan.
We don't care. We don't care what time it is over there, Jake from Freedom Scoop. All right, we're in the one true time zone.
8:45 there. Well, Jake, you should have already had your dinner 3 hours ago, and you should be brushing your teeth, getting ready for bed at this point, right?
Well, no, we're not all boomers.
Yeah, but he
goes to bed at 7:45.
No. Where he lives, I mean, you don't want to burn the candles all night. You got to conserve wax and blow those candles out and go to bed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so before we get the hell out of here, John, once again, remind these people what's going on real quick. Make it as fast as you possibly can.
Okay. Halloween.
Great job, John. All right.
For St. Jude's, 3 hours. Be there or be gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you will be. And then December 6th, it's a Friday, 12-hour live stream for Toys for Tots. So be there or be super gay, which, again, nothing wrong with that, but, you will be. And that's what we got.
Don't forget, folks, right down there in the description, we have a link not only to Freedom Scoop, but also to the Gin Gap merchandise.
Yes, buy our
page. We've got a shirt there that we kind of like, so we we want you to buy it so bad. We put a code down there, says Gin Gap. Put that in your cart, and you'll get 15% off your purchase of a Gin Gap T-shirt. John, they can find us not only at Freedom Scoop, but somewhere else as well. Where can they find us?
Yes. Real quick, I want to say another comment about the shirts.
Oh, no. Really?
I heard a rumor that if you buy and wear one of our shirts, hot ladies will have sex with you.
Really?
That's what I heard. It's just a rumor, but I mean, I heard it's credible. It's a credible rumor.
Is it better than
on CNN?
Is it better than Axe body spray? Wasn't?
Way better, yeah. way better than Axe body spray.
Never got.
See, Jake from Freedom Scoop is corroborating my story.
It's true.
Absolutely true.
Chicks dig the gap.
That's right. A lot of them have one.
John,
remember side gaps? Whatever. Anyway,
this is a family show. Anyway,
yes.
Where else can they find us besides Freedom Scoop, John?
Yes,
say your things.
You can find us on Twitter at the Gin Gap P, also linked down below. And more importantly, in my opinion at least, our Discord server link is down there. If you're not already on the Discord server, then I mean, fuck, man, just do it. I mean, what are you waiting for?
Hey, if you did not hit the like button, you suck. But if you hit it, you will unsuck. So that's a good thing. So definitely hit the like button. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. But I think everybody I've seen in here, we've seen lots of folks in here. I saw Jake from Free School. I think I saw Wyatt roaming through here, but damn it,
Yep.
Did we call him out? Damn it, I feel bad.
No.
My
Sorry,
apologies.
Wyatt.
My apologies
We like
to
you.
Wyatt from Round Table Decision for not calling him out. But Seawall, Midget, all you folks that have been showing up tonight, keeping the conversation going. Thanks for all your interaction.
Yeah, everyone who's been lurking too and not saying anything.
Ed, if you unsub, you will no longer be my sub.
That's right. You'll be disavowed. And
Notice how that works? Because, and I know, no matter what anybody says, you like being our sub.
That's right.
Anyway, we're going to get the hell out of here, John. Have yourself a good one, and don't forget, get yourself geared up for Saturday, because them ribs, them ribs are going to be good.
Gonna be good.
All right, we're out of here, folks. Thanks for joining us tonight on Generational Gap. We'll see you again on Friday at a regular time at 8:30, and then once again, we'll be back again on next Monday for another rousing episode of Shootin the Sh. Peace out, everybody. Have yourselves a great night. John, later.
Yep, see you guys.